All right, I'm going to work out a few of the homework problems for you, just in case that's helpful for you to see them worked out. Here at the beginning we have absolute value, and we need to treat the absolute value signs as if they are parentheses. So in this first example, the absolute value of -5 plus 7, in order to get the absolute value here, we need to do -5 plus 7 first. So we solve that. -5 plus 7 is 2, and the absolute value of 2 is just 2. It's neither positive nor negative. The absolute value of -2 is 2. The absolute value of 2 is 2. It's just about a distance. In the other problem, we have the absolute value of -5 plus 7. And notice the plus 7 is not inside the absolute value sign. So we are going to take care of that after we deal with what's inside the absolute value sign. So the absolute value of -5 is 5, and then when we write down 5, we can take off those signs. We can add 5 to 7 then and get 12. In number 10, we're actually solving for x, and x is inside the absolute value signs. So we know from the experience of the last problem that what was inside that absolute value sign could have been 3, or it could have been -3. And so we need to represent both possibilities when we give our answer. Notice that if I have the absolute value of 2, the absolute value of -2, both of those equal 2, right? So in this problem, I can think of it like this. As two problems. X could be 3, or -x could become 3. This is maybe a little bit harder way of looking at it than just saying it could be 3 or -3, but maybe this is another explanation as to why that actually works. The absolute value of 3 is 3. The absolute value of -3 is 3. And so when we want to actually solve for x, we have two answers, 3 or -3. In problem 3 here, I have the same problem, except I have this little extra piece. I have this plus 15 that I'm going to have to do something about. And true to thinking of our absolute value signs, kind of like parentheses, I'm going to actually get rid of that plus 15 before I even deal with the absolute value of u. So let's subtract 15 from both sides and get the absolute value of u is 5. Now we have the same problem as in number 2. We're going to either know that what was inside those absolute value signs was 5, or it was -5, right? Negative u there equaling 5. If we solve it out like that, we get u equals -5. So we need to report two answers for this problem. U inside of the absolute value signs there could have been -5, or it could have been 5. In number 4, we have the absolute value of 2w minus 3 equals 11. And so we know that what's inside the absolute value signs there, 2w minus 3, that whole thing could equal 11, or it could equal -11 before we take off the absolute value signs. So we're going to have to solve two problems. We need to think of both possibilities. It could be 11, could be -11. I'm going to solve 2w minus 3 equals 11, and I'm actually going to solve 2w minus 3 equals -11. I need to just know that the possibility of having that negative inside the absolute value signs, we need to cover our bases there. We're going to have two answers to these problems. Notice I add 3 to both sides, get 2w equals 14. I'm going to divide by 2 and get w equals 7. That's one possibility. That possibility is true if 2w minus 3 equals positive 11. But I also need to solve this other one. I'm adding 3 to both sides. I'm dividing by 2 on both sides. I get w equals negative 4. And that's what w would have to be if all of that, 2w minus 3, inside the absolute value signs is actually negative 11. So I can plug the number back in and check it. The absolute value of negative 11 is 11. And I could check the other answer too. 2 times 7 minus 3 is going to give me 11. The absolute value of 11 is 11. So I'm going to put 2 answers to this problem. And number 5 is just an extension of this. Notice that I have u minus 7 inside the absolute value signs. So I'm going to try to isolate that. And I need to get rid of this plus 9 before I do anything with the absolute value signs. The absolute value of u minus 7 plus 9 is 20. I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. And then I just have the absolute value of u minus 7 on the left, and I have 11 on the right. I still have to solve 2 problems here, but now I have it isolated so that I can just solve for this u minus 7. I know that u minus 7 could be 11. I also know that it could be negative 11. Just keep thinking, whenever you see those absolute value signs, there's likely to be 2 answers and 2 problems that you need to solve. No one's going to tell you that, you just need to know it. Adding 7, getting u equals 18. That's one possibility. And when I add 7 and add 7 here, I get u equals negative 4, and that's my other possibility. So each of those answers is equally true in this equation. One will give me the negative, one will give me the positive.